When getting professional in CG art and art in general, becoming a freelancer is often something we think about. In this video, I will try to ask the 14 questions you should ask yourself before starting your freelancer career. Let's get started. Big disclaimer here. These are my thoughts based on my own experience. I've been working for more than 15 years. I've been freelancing since 2014 and it has been a pretty successful journey so far, but I don't pretend to have the ultimate truth about freelancing. Check out my latest video if you want to know more about my path as a freelancer and a 3D artist. While trying to answer those questions, I will let this video running in the background where I'm animating a run cycle onto a mid-creature, mid-human character. The most obvious question is when should I start, and should I go for full-time or progressive transition to a freelance career? A lot of people start their professional career after school willing to be freelancers right from the start. While it's totally possible, this is not something I would advise. I would recommend to dive into freelancing after a few years of experience, whether it's in CG related job or not. This will allow you to learn about professional codes and relationship, negotiation, contracting, and a bit of marketing. And if you're working in the CG industry, you will get valuable experience and potential customers that could follow you. Regarding transitioning, I think it's better to get into full-time as soon as possible. But you will need to make sure you can sustain even if you don't get any contract or any income for, let's say, 6 months, so that you won't stress out and you can choose the project you will be working on wisely. If you can't take this decision, then start freelancing after work and on the weekend. But it won't allow you to take a big project and work as fast as much client will ask, and it's gonna be pretty compromising socially and physically wise. Is freelancing something for me? It's the first and most important question you have to ask yourself and answer as honestly as possible. Freelancing is not made for everyone. You will need a lot of discipline, a good sense of communication, know how to sell yourself, and be fine with loneliness. If you're more into teamwork and having a boss or a mentor, if you need anyone to kick yourself from your bed, then freelancing might not be for you. How to start? Do I have to create a company? You will need to set a minimum of things to look and be professional. Create your brand, most likely simply using your name. I will avoid using a nickname. Find quotes and invoices template online or ask a friend, your parents, colleague to get document example. Depending on your country, you need to find if you need to create an official company to find contracts. You can search for freelance project without having a company. It's better to create your company as you get your first contracts, not before. Start as small as possible. Don't create a company if you can find a cheaper and simplified legal freelancer status. As soon as you will have a company, you will have to pay taxes, but it won't bring any customers. Don't hesitate to ask other freelancers in your country on social media to choose the best company legal form to use. You may find status where you pay only if you are making business income, which is very nice when you are starting your company. How to define my daily rate? Don't be cheap. You won't be taken seriously if you show you're not able to set a daily rate that will allow any professional to sustain. Price is secondary. Most of the time you will or won't find a job based on your experience and exposure. To get started, search what is the minimum wage in your country or how much you'd like to earn per month. Let's say you want to make $2,000 per month, so it will be $24,000 per year. Consider that 30 to 50% of your business income will be wasted in taxes. So you'll need to make around $40,000 per year to get paid $24,000. Then add your software subscription, unless you go go full open source, which I can't fully advise cause your customer may use industry standard. Blender is totally okay, but you may need Substance Painter and mostly Adobe Creative Suite. So it's an additional $1,000 per year. You will need to oftenly update your hardware, average of $2,000 per year. Note that you won't get paid if you're sick or if you take vacation, so consider you'll need to make an extra month of income per year, add $3,000 to $4,000. So you will have to charge your customers $46,000 per year to earn about $24,000. So it will be a $3,800 a month, the least, to have $2,000 in your pocket. Average this on 21 days of work per month, so you'll have to charge at least $180 per day, assuming you're working full-time 11 months a year to make yourself a $2,000 salary, not including extra charging and assuming you're not working from home, so you don't have to rent an office. Since you're most likely not going to work full-time, at least in the beginning, I will go for a $250 per day. After a couple of years and with recurring customers and growth, you'll be able to raise your rate from 50 to 100%. Don't hesitate to compare your daily rate with other freelancers from your country you feel you have the same level or work on the same kind of project portfolio based. If you already have experience as an employee and start your career, your salary is a good scale, or you can use payscale.com to know what is the average salary and apply the previous math. What is a good daily routine? Daily routine is the first thing you'll be free to decide of, but I advise you to start your day as if you were going to the office. Take a coffee, shower, get dressed, try to keep yourself active with an organization and stick to it. I generally start dealing with emails and prospects. I do believe it's better so that your customers will get their answers while they are taking their first coffee at the office. Then you're good for 7 to 8 hours of job even if you don't have a project. Work on personal projects so that you will keep the rhythm and you'll continue on progressing. If you go into the mindset that since you don't have a contract you don't need to work, you will fail, that's for sure. I would also advise to make 30 minutes of sport for your health because staying in the office is not really good for us, and if possible try to have a dedicated room for your job, avoiding to have your desk in the living room or your bedroom. It will allow you to easily disconnect from work, which is important not to burn out. I personally think it's better to try to work during usual office hours to match most of your customers' rhythm and keep a social life. Where and how to find customers. Never ever pay to get access to customers' contract. If you're on a website asking you to pay to be able to make a proposal or access a mission, just avoid this at all. Most of these are non-reliable offers or shitty projects with a lot of desperate freelancers that will lower their prices to death. Commission upon income is okay, but paying to access job offers is a no-go. Start local. Contact advertisement and marketing agencies in your country or state. Ask around you, your family, start small. Search on dedicated forums like Blender Artist. There are some great projects there, even if it's limited and overcrowded. I advise you websites where you subscribe and get selected, such as malt.com or Upwork. Most of the time, customers are filtered and they choose you. You don't have to search for them. The website will take a commission, generally around 5 to 15%, which is fair, and they generally secure transaction and payment conditions. Plus, the more active you are, the more offers you'll get. But before jumping on Upwork or freelancers.com, check if you can't find this kind of websites that exclusively work in your country. Working local will reduce the competition. Describe your activity and skill as clearly as possible, as if you were talking to your mom, because a lot of your customer might not know about your specialty name, like I'm a rigger, I'm a VFX tech artist, etc. I would mostly say I design your logo and brand visuals, I create your videos with nice FXs and trendy visuals, I can build VR experience for you, etc. And then you will naturally expand to international with growing fame and confidence. Customers will most likely find you instead of you searching for them. The bigger the project, the minor the competition. If you search for small contracts that can be done within a few hours of work, there will be a lot of cheap people competing with you. Be more ambitious as soon as you can. To betterly choose your platform, check this blog for more details and resources. How to get exposure. Alongside of your professional behavior, you should try to be as active as possible on dedicated forums and social media, giving advices and constructive critiques. Posting personal works, participating to challenging will sure brings you a lot of attention. This will bring you more chances to get a contract in your specialty. Be kind with other people and absolutely avoid political, religious and sexual topics as you are exposing yourself as a brand. As a freelancer, your professional and personal profile are linked together. Build your network on Beyond, ArtStation and LinkedIn, for example. Ask for contact but don't spam people. Just say hi and introduce yourself and what you would offer. And if you get no answer, don't push further or harass people. As soon as you get a new customer, connect with his colleague, for example. I would also advise to build your own website even if it's ArtStation or Beyond Space, because your customer may not know about ArtStation or Beyond, and it will look more professional if you have your own website as a freelancer. How to sustain. Getting your first job is the hardest, but then if you've been serious and delivered what was expected, words of mouth will do a lot and you will get more customers. After a couple of years, the balance will change and you will have recurring customers that will help you to sustain and project yourself beyond the next month. When you have the feeling that you can see what's coming for the next 4 months, it means you've made a big step in your freelance career. You should put more energy into keeping your customers than trying to find new ones. How to choose a project and what are the projects to avoid. The first question to ask yourself when getting a new proposal is, am I able to do the job? If you feel like it's a bit out of your knowledge, search for tutorials and ask yourself if you can learn the technique you're missing and deliver on time. Generally, a project where you know 80 to 90% of the workflow is reliable. Ask your customers for delivery references. Example, for commercial shot, ask him video references of the quality and style output he's looking for. If he can't provide, find the reference for him based on what you think will match both the briefing and the quality you will be able to output. Do not forget that you are the expert. If customers ask you something impossible, explain him clearly but respectfully why it's not possible. I had a customer asking for a Picaut level 5-minute commercial shot to be done in 2 months on my own. I've told him Zootopia was done in 5 years by 500 people, so it's 2,500 years of human work. So if I add the same level of expertise as Pixar, which I don't, it will take me 10 years to achieve your shot. It was enough to engage a more reliable discussion and establish the output level and expectation. You should avoid customers that offer to pay upon the success of their products. For example, an indie studio that will pay you a fraction of your usual rate, promising that you'll get a commission on the sales. This is not professional and there is almost no chance it will be profitable or even reliable. Another rule to follow is what you see is what you get. Don't base your negotiation based on customer promising a lot more project after this one. Consider this is the only project you will have with them and quote accordingly. If they do bring more project afterwards, then you can lower your price. Don't lower your price to get more project, lower your price because you get more project. This is not a no-go, but I would avoid project with multiple freelancers. This is always a source of problem, especially if you don't know the other ones. There will be delay, there will be problem of method, compatibility, rhythm, involvement. Don't hesitate to ask your customer how many people are working on the project and what is each people's task. This will allow you to evaluate the reliability of the project and your customer. If you choose to recruit other freelancers to help you on a project, you'd be responsible for this, and your customer is not supposed to know it. He needs to know the schedules and the cost. Other information are at your own discretion. Which specialty offers more opportunities? I'm deeply convinced that it's way easier to find work as a freelancer when you're a generalist. Being able to do a little of everything will bring you way more projects. Our job is absolutely not limited to video games and blockbusters. CG is everywhere, and there is so much to do with medical videos, ads, educational content, industrial design, jewelry, etc. Being polyvalent will also help you a lot getting a job in indie studios, and this represents way more jobs than going into a very big studio. I believe motion design in general brings a lot of opportunities because you can communicate for any kind of customers. So you should learn basic of modeling, animation, rendering and video compositing. If you're looking for freelance opportunities in the game or movie industry, then you will have to be very good and very specialized in what you're doing because there will be a lot of competition. You may want to search for outsourcing companies you can apply for. They will bring contracts from recurring customers you might not be able to access on your own. How to deal and behave with customers. It might sound obvious, but be honest. Don't lie to your customer and learn to say no. It's way better and professional to say no to a customer on a project you can't take for any reason than screw it. Your customer will most likely come back if you say no than if you compromise one of his projects. With new customers, always ask for a deposit before starting the production. If it's a small and short project, asking from 50 to 100% deposit is pretty common. On longer projects, 30% is pretty usual. You can also ask for milestone payment like a midterm for long project, dividing your project payment into thirds: initial deposit, midterm and on-delivery payment. You have to clearly define the payment condition when quoting the project before starting production. Always write down what are the deliverable assets, price and schedules. Ask for a written agreement in return. An email is absolutely fine. You should always write down any of the contract conditions to protect yourself and your customer. Verbal agreements have no value. Defines at which stage of production and how many revisions are acceptable. Don't hesitate to add additional charges if there are too many modifications. Communicate openly, showing as much critical steps as possible so that you can deal with modification along the way instead of reworking from scratch a polished product. Clearly define these steps with your customer in a written document like email. For example, on a character production, ask for agreement for each of these steps: concept, blocking, the sculpt, and finally the shading. If you feel like you won't reach the schedules on time, tell your client right away. Most of the time they will be able to postpone a bit because we all take a little security net. Try to explain as if you were talking to your mom the main stage of the production to your customers, assuming he's not into the same industry as you are. If there is delay in your payment, immediately notify your customer with a gentle written form.
Payback time.
What have I to deliver? Do not provide your source files unless it was clearly defined in the contract. If so, you should add extra charges for this. If I'm working for a video project, I provide the video, not the After Effects project, not the 3D asset, etc. You can watermark your videos or deliver low resolution content until you figured payment or trust with your customer. If you provide your production file, you have no guarantee your customer will get back to you for additional mission and ask a cheaper freelancer to use your files to create more content. How to quote a project. You need to clearly evaluate the output and estimate how long it will take you to achieve the mission. For example, if your customer is asking, I want an animated character, you need to ask what is the complexity of the character, how long is the animation, what is the quality level you are aiming for. From there, add a 25 to 50% delay security. For an estimated 5 days of work mission, I will charge for 7 days and announce 8 to 9 labor days before delivery. Rushed project might be getting additional charges. The longer the project, the less additional cost you should add. You can also charge a little more based on the complexity and if you know that your client will negotiate. It's better to ask for $1,000 while you are expecting a $800 payment and agree on the $200 discount. Both you and your customer will be happy and you'll reach your expectations. If you complete the mission within your 5 days, then you'll make some extra money and this is how you'll sustain. If you have a couple of days of delay, in the end you'll still be fine. Charge for a minimum project fee. I would not take an hour job and charge 1 hour. I will at least charge for half a day because you will still need to make the administrative things that will need time and you won't succeed accumulating 1 hour long missions. Add any additional cost if you know. Or let your customers know that there might be additional cost and if you don't know how much, let them know or ask them to deal with the third party, but I don't advise it. This can apply to stock footage acquisition, render farms rental, etc. If you've already evaluated these fees, ask for a deposit that covers the estimated fees. Do not tell your customer the way you've calculated the project cost. They don't need to know that you've estimated 5 days of work at a given rate and added 2 days of security, or they will negotiate on the time you will spend or the time you have spent. Tell them when they will be delivered and at which cost, and respect the quality they were asking for. If you do it faster than scheduled, then it's good for you. Avoid delivering too early if you have rushed the order. If you've estimated a delivery date after 10 days of work and deliver within 5 days, that will be more than suspicious. You can detail production lines in your quote, that's important, but don't detail too much. If I was to create a shot with a full CG character, I would group modeling, shading and rigging together. Then I will add another line for animation and finally one for compositing and motion design. The additional cost will be render farm if needed, or your own render fee if you're invested in graphic cards and whatever stock asset you've used like music or picture. Again, don't go cheap, you won't sustain or you won't be taken seriously by your customers. What should I learn next? Learn what you are enjoying, not what you think will bring more contract and money. If you learn or work on things you like, you'll work better, faster, and you'll shine in the competition and it will bring more projects. I will advise to learn how to create procedural content ASAP and file shortcuts. It's better to use Rigify to rig a character for a single shot than build a whole rig for 4 days if you're only animating for a few days afterward. Procedural modeling and procedural animation are also very important because most of your clients won't be animation studios or game studios. There will be corporate companies that are looking for a nice result within a decent budget. During this journey, you will get known for what you do the best and you will have more and more people reaching you for their specific skills. And the more niche you will become, the greater your value will be, but you first need to exist through more generalist contracts. This is mostly what I've experienced working in the beginning on a lot of different things and slowly getting known for my game art and animation content. And now I can focus on this exclusively. So again, this reflection is based on my personal experience. And if you have more information to share, please share them in the comment section below. I will soon be back with more animation and rigging content. In the meantime, please subscribe and support. Cheers!